So here we have another set of data that came in either from you downloading from your database or wherever it came in the way that you didn't want it to. In other words, for this first one here, you were expecting to see rows, comma, space, and chip in one single cell or field. And you end up getting it split up like this. So what we're going to do is use a function called concatenate that will actually allow us to pull this stuff together to make it look the way that we expect or expected. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to start out with equal. We're going to type in CON. Now, you'll notice that we have concatenate with a yellow marker on it, and we have concat. Concatenate will soon be gone. Maybe another couple versions or what have you. They're getting rid of it. And concat will take its place. So it's the same thing, just different, really, just a different name, really. But it does the same thing, and it's set up the same way. So we're going to go ahead and just go with concat. So we'll double click that. And now the first thing it wants to know is, what's the first thing you want to have in this new field? Well, I want to see the last name first. So I'm going to click on the rows, put a comma in there, and then I want to have a comma and a space, and then bring in chip, right? So in quotation marks, I type in a comma, a space, and then another quotation mark, and then a comma. So that's me having just told it that I want so far to see rows, and then comma, space, and then what's next? Chip. So I click on to B2, there we go, enter that in, and there we go. And we can take that and copy that down, just like that. Don't need that last one. All right, so that's how that works. So pretty neat little tool there. Now what happened a little bit further over, we downloaded the product name and it came in with some goofy number. We're not sure what it is, but we don't need it. All right. So we want to get rid of that number and just have it with just the verbiage that you see there. Okay. So in this situation, we're going to use a combination of the mid function and the find function. And in essence, what we're going to do is tell it to look for, you know, basically the formula is going to say look for the pound symbol there and give us everything to the left of it. All right. So the way we're going to do this then is we're going to do equal. All right. We're going to do MI, and you'll see mid. So we'll double click onto that. And then we're going to go and say, well, we want to look at what's in F2. That's what we're looking to fix here. Comma, and then 1. All right, so starting from the beginning of that, comma, all right, we want to find, so we're going to type in FI, and we'll see find, all right? So we want to find an occurrence of quotation mark, not the quotation, but just a space, pound, quotation mark. So we want it to look for, starting from the beginning here, when it encounters a space and the pound symbol, all right? When it does that, and then we're looking for that in F2, all right? So we have to click on F2. Then, all right, we hit number 1, all right? And basically, starting from the beginning to that point of space and pound, that's what we want it to kind of extract out, get to copy out. Now we'll balance out our parenthesis with 2 of those parentheses because we've got a left parenthesis here and we've got one here. So this one balances that off, and then we got that one balanced off by that last one. Enter that in, there we go. And we can go ahead back to it, copy that all the way down, and we've got that fixed. All right, now if we go a little bit further over, we have this happening. Now for whatever reason, these 3 items, which are actually the location, the vendor, and the price code, all, actually I should say the location, the price code and the vendor. Sorry about that. That information was supposed to be in there separately and end up combining this stuff. And we don't want that. So in essence, what we need to do is for the location, that's actually this one here. It's those first four numbers. That's the code for the location. All right. The price code are the last 5 numbers over here, and the vendor is actually the middle part here. All right. So somehow we need to copy that stuff out into here. All right. Now we're going to be using the left function, the right function, and the mid function to make this happen. It's very easy to do. So we're going to go here to the location. All right. We're going to type in equal. All right. Type in LE. There's our left. We'll double click onto that. We'll have it look at the SKU number. All right. So in essence, the way you read into this is starting from the far left of this, I want to count out, I want to pull out the first 4 characters, right? So what we do is we put a comma and we type in the number 4, just like that. Enter that in and we get that. Now we can take that and we can copy that all the way down, just like that. Great little thing there. Now, for the price code, that's actually, as I said before, this information over here. So this was the left function. We use that for the left, starting from the left side of it. This time we're going to use the right function. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to type in equal RI. There's right. Okay. Now, looking at I2, comma, starting from the far right of it, give me the 5 characters starting from the far right. So I type in 5, hit the enter key, there it is. I can take that and copy that all the way down. Not bad. Now the vendor is the middle one. Now that's going to be the tricky one. Here we're going to use the mid function. So we're going to do equal MI. There's your mid. We double click that, all right? Now, what we're saying here is look at this. Okay, so then comma, all right? Then I want to count in from the far left 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's where beta's at, right? So I say number 6, comma, and then go on for the next 4 characters, right? So starting with beta, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Enter it in, perfect. Then we go ahead and take that and copy that all the way down. So what we're really counting on here is that we have the same amount of characters in each of the columns. In other words, they don't have to be the same number from column to column, but within each of these little columns having the same amount, all right? Now, we have other tools that we can work with that can get around unevenness, but for the even ones, this is the way we go, all right? Now, this next thing I'm about to show you is kind of going out there in left field a little bit, but it might be something that you might want to do from time to time, all right? And what I want to show you here, this is all blank because that's what we're going to work on, but on my done version here, I want you to see this. So what we've got here is kind of like a phrase, or what they call a string, that we're able to create by putting, or by referencing, using the concatenate that we have here, by using the concatenate to reference various fields, also adding in my own stuff, but being able to reference like D2 and M2 and F2 and H2, along with putting some space in there, and along with putting my own, maybe like the word sold in there. But by doing that, coming up with this information here, and this is information is coming from this first row. Pretty cool. So that's one thing. And then I have another one to show you where we're able to actually pull in the date as it is there, and also the formatting of the currency that we have here, the dollar amount that they generated. You can't, as you'll see here, we have to use the text function along with some formatting information to get it to look like a date and to look like dollars, because otherwise, especially for the date, you're just going to get the serial number for the date, which would be a number that's in the tens of thousands. It doesn't look very good. So that's how we're going to fix that up. So we're going to do these two. Now, if this is something that you could care less about, move on to the next video. All right. But I think this is kind of a creative thing, and it kind of gives you some good ideas, maybe for those special spreadsheets where you want it to kind of read like a sentence, your data that you have, on each of your rows. All right, so we'll go back to the original sheet here, and we'll go to our first cell here to put that wonderful formula into. So to do this first one, okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the concatenate or just a concat function. It doesn't matter which one we do. I'll just do concatenate this time. We'll mix it up a little bit. So type in equal, CON, there's your concatenate, all right? And what we want to do is we want to take what's in, let me just move over here a little bit. We want to take what's in D2, that'll be this guy right here, okay, comma, and then in quotation marks, space, the word sold, another space, and then quotation mark, all right? And then a comma. And then we're going to click on to M2. So we'll go over here to M2. There's M2, so we click onto that, comma, and then in quotations, a space. So we need a space between that and another comma, all right? And then we're going to go ahead and click on to F2. So we'll back over just a little bit here. There's F2. We got that one there. And then a comma. And then in quotations, space, quotation, comma. And then we need H. So we're going to do H2 there. Okay? So that's it. So once we've done that, then we just go ahead and close up the parenthesis if you want. Hit enter. And there we go. So Rose Chip, or we could have picked anything else, sold 69 of the Tigers, number, 684, and they were beverages. All right. So kind of interesting. And then we can go ahead and copy that all the way down. I can't double click it because there's nothing here and there's nothing over here. So I have to just kind of manually just drag it down. All right, so now for the next one, we'll kind of move over here a little bit. Okay, so for here, this was the one that's going to be giving us the name, and then on such and such date sold that many dollars. All right, a little bit shorter, but actually I think a longer formula. So anyway, so we'll click onto here. We'll do our equal, or do our CON. There's our concatenate. All right. Now we're going to look at D2 once again. Now what we could also do, I'll just change it up a little bit. I'll just say, I'm just going to go with chip. Okay, so chip. All right. And then I'll go ahead and do my comma. And then in quotations, just put a space. And then on, space, quotation, comma. And then this is where we need to reference the date, but I need to make sure that it comes in looking like a date. So after I do the comma there, I'm going to do my text function. So I'm going to type in TE, and there's my text. And within the text function, I'm going to reference the date, which will be A2 here. Okay. And then once I've done that, I'll put a comma. And then in quotations, I will put in the way that I want that date to look. In this case, it's going to be MM for the month, /DD, right slash YYYY, quotation mark, close the parentheses, and then comma, and then in quotation marks, space, sold, space, quotation, and then comma. And now I need to do the dollar amount, all right? So we need to reference that. And I want to make sure it comes in as dollars and not just a raw number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the TE once again. There is the text, all right? And then I'm going to reference O2. That's going to be where the dollar amount is. So I'm going to get over here to O2. So click onto that, comma, and then in quotation marks, all right, I want to put in a dollar symbol and then some coding that represents numbers. So I'm going to put in there a pound, comma, and then pound, 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 and then my quotation mark, and then close off my parentheses to get those balanced out. Enter that in. There we go. Look at that. So chip on 10/26 sold $3,864. Then I can take that and copy that all the way down. That's pretty cool. So I appreciate any of you that waited around to watch these last two. They were rather lengthy, but like I said, you might find it from time to time that you might want to use something like this. So hopefully that's the case, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.